The spoken words and our understanding of their significance mostly stems from what is considered to be the conscious and unconscious movements and postures by which attitudes, feelings are communicated, also known as body language. Study in this area tends to put an emphasis on clarifying how certain characteristics of the human body affect the impression we make on others. It is whispered that famous politicians, great leaders of corporates, and head of states use this method of reading other gestures to transfer them ideas using tricks, which combined with their attitude, standing makes one to be manipulated easily. Most of the people underestimate the power of their body language. There are certain techniques which, being used correctly, can help you learn a lot about others and yourself, while most believe that body language makes an impression only on observers, which is what I will talk about today. We'll also elaborate on the way that nonverbal communication changes how we see ourselves. Having the right knowledge regarding this kind of communication gives you an enormous advantage over others. It permits you to collect data about their personality, points of views, fears, and weak points, making it possible to even predict one's actions and words while also leaving him or her the impressions you want them to have for you. Nonverbal expressions are excellent indexes of what people are feeling. As first impressions are very important, proper body language is needed to produce lasting and memorable effects. We're really fascinated with body language, but we're particularly interested in others people's bodies language. For instance, the first time meeting someone new, we tend to focus on their facial expressions, body posture, eye contact, and gestures. Did they convey confidence? Did they convince you? How was their handshake? Was it strong, weak, and wilted? There are certain signs and signals that can commonly be perceived as accurate. For example, little eye contact and minimal facial expressions are common signs of a defensive person. Alternatively, high breathing rate and increased perspiration are typical signs that a person is lying. Statistics show that a shoulder shrug is universally used when someone doesn't comprehend something. People with arms folded and legs crossed and bodies turned away are signaling that they are rejecting messages. People showing open hands, fully facing you, both feet planted on the ground, are accepting messages at that time. There is a lot we can tell about one's response and opinion just by observing their body language. Women are generally more tended to capture someone lying because of their attention to detail, while men tend to be more indulgent. Almost every part of our bodies speaks along with us when we communicate, every muscle instinctively or consciously in order to complete the conversation and harmonize with our words. The way we speak, walk, stand, and move all say something about us, and everything that is happening inside our minds can be reflected on the outside. Therefore, being able to understand nonverbal signs of a communication will tell a lot about one's emotions and personality. Key figures to win a debate: to make the crowd love you or why not, to convince your boss or the members of a board for your views, ideas, and arguments. Though body language affects what other people think of us, it also changes the way we define ourselves. When we think of nonverbal, we think about the impressions others leave on us, the impression we leave on others, and the outcome of this interaction. We have the tendency to forget. We want to feel confident, strong, and powerful. There are several unconscious. We have the tendency to forget, though, that we are also affected by our own body language. Therefore, when in certain situations we want to feel confident, strong, and powerful, there are several unconscious gestures we tend to embrace. On one hand, when someone feels powerful and strong, they are likely to make themselves big, stretching their arms and mainly opening up. That is a gesture that each and every single one of us has tried in some case of greatness or during very exciting situations. It is an incentive. It happens to every living organism on the planet. We all open up in one way or another, meaning that body language is much more universal than we might think. And it even overcomes verbal communication because it broadens beyond human understanding. We tend to communicate with others in ways we're not aware of through body language. On the other hand, when one's self-esteem is low and they do not feel confident in themselves, they do the exact opposite. They close up, wrap their arms, and generally make themselves small as possible because they do not feel confident bumping into the person next to them. In this type of situation, people tend to lose their self-confidence by making them inferior towards others. But this is not the only reason. Some people tend to fall into these situations involuntarily because the others know very well how to show their dominance through body language, tone of voice, and movements. This does not mean that your opponent is not afraid, he is just reading your tales and manipulating you. But he may also be scared or insecure. By faking your gestures, you may be able to change your perception of the situation, and so resulting in feeling superior even when you start feeling inferior. Is there any explanation why faking a feeling, regardless of what that is, makes you truly experience that feeling? One of the key reasons is hormones. Testosterone is responsible for dominance, and cortisol is responsible for stress. Our reaction is based on our hormones, and thinking in a particular emotion tends to raise or lower our level of hormones. As mentioned before, body language plays a major role in various aspects of one's life. While our gestures affect the impression we leave on others, they also change the way we see ourselves. The nonverbal communication effect in our relationships with others is profound. In order to change the way our brain understands a specific situation, we might choose a body posture that allows us to feel more confident and more powerful. It is all inside our mind and body. Every act, every gesture, every moment is there to help us succeed in our goals and aims in life. Adapting with the situation and standing right, making others feel your superiority, it is all an act, an outfit, for example. We are who we are, but the key is inside your mind. We can change and we can always adapt, which is the reason why the human race still continues to survive. Developed and dominant on other species, we knew how to change with the time, believing and dreaming always for more, and reaching for ideas years ahead of our time. We make our own paths. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right, quote from Will Smith. In the end, that's what body language is about, understanding that you can even if you couldn't before. It is a way of arguing, expressing your ideas, opinions, claims, and goals. Points of views, and no one can stop you from doing that, because guess what? It is done instinctively, and without knowing, sometimes you have transmitted your passion and your vision to the world in front of you. In conclusion, body language is the most valuable key to a successful life. Thank you.